Brodes Media.
The two-run shot after that pathetic at-bat before. Swinging at pitches that were touching the dirt 5 feet in front of the plate. I don't understand how he got that lost. But oh my Lord, did that not feel like a Trea Turner moment. An at-bat that matters in that Phillies uniform. The first time we were able to grab him and say thank you after getting booed that same day. It's another Alec Bohm thing. The day Alec Bohm went about his business saying he hated this place and then looked at the camera, looked at the fan base, and said he let the emotions get the best of him. Trea Turner gets killed, gets crushed, gets booed heavily in his own ballpark, and reasonably so. Just because he says the right things afterwards doesn't mean that how you're playing is acceptable. And you also chose to come here because they were willing to pay you a lot of money. I love the way he handled himself during the struggles. I'm not mad at the fans for expressing how they feel during those struggles. Within range of reasonable. Within range of not crossing the line like a small portion of fans tend to do. That was so ridiculous, though. And good for Bryson Stott, the at-bat right before him to get on first base, earned a nice single. Wasn't the greatest behind the plate. Rob Thompson's all fired up, screaming at the top of his lungs, making all sorts of gestures towards the blue behind the dish. Stott, young player, staying with it. Not getting overwhelmed by the frustration. Smacks a single, which gives Trea Turner the opportunity to even step up. It felt like, and it seemed like, the team found something with this win. I have to be completely honest, though. I've said that a billion times already this season. I've already thought that they would have turned the corner 7 times. So why this time would it be any different? That's a very fair question. But doesn't this have extra? This has guac on the side. You got yourself double chicken at Chipotle. It's not single scoop. You're looking at that motherfucker and say, scoop again. That look, like, come on, dude. That's not enough. Yo, come on, jerk off. Will ya, please? Throw me a bone. You've been in this line before on this side. You know what it's like when you feel the person gypped you. Grab your nuts and let's go. Scoop it. These next 7 games are crucial. I hope there's a new sense of life. Because I was afraid. I listened to Bryce Harper after the Game 2 loss in this series. They dropped Game 2 4-3. I thought Kyle Schwarber had a shot to center field that was going to drop, but they made a good defensive play. Covey ended up not being a bum, and he had one of the worst win-loss percentages in the history of Major League Baseball with enough starts to even be counted for. It was something along the lines of 6-29, and it became terrible to look at some of his numbers. But once Matt Strahm left the game, he actually held the fort down, held his own. I was absolutely floored. But Dominguez was a mess. After that game, Bryce Harper tried to, kind of give out a cry for help. We need something here. He went down the path to try to inspire his teammates. Say, yo, we can't wait around. We need a little sense of urgency. And for the team to have that type of win, I think it's important. That came after the superstar made his comments in the room. But last year, Kyle Schwarber did the same, but he was so nonchalant. He was so cool. Everything's going to be fine. Don't worry about us. There's a long ways to go. I wasn't getting that recently. Now, they've been saying similar things. It's a long season. There's a lot of baseball left. but you could tell there was more kick in it. It was coming from a different angle. I hope that this type of win is what you grab onto, and from there you just take off. And what better teams to do it against than your rivals? I despise the Mets, and the Mets killed you last year. You actually can do something against Atlanta. Ronald Acuna Jr. is playing ridiculous ball, but they don't get as overwhelmed against the Braves like they did against the New York Mets last season. I got to give a shout out to Connor Brogdon for getting out of that jam. You know, the game turned when the Diamondbacks had bases loaded, no outs, and a 2-0 count. And 7 pitches later, they're out of the inning without giving up anything more. It was extremely impressive. You're down 5-0. Things have been going really rough for you all. Your team stinks with runners in scoring position. Your starting pitching was awful. Ranger Suarez is just not ready. He's not himself. He didn't throw at all in spring training, and they just threw him on the mound and said, we need you desperately, but that's not really good. I guess you can make the argument you shouldn't have lost the way Covey pitched, or Covey. I keep going to Britton Covey, but Covey. You shouldn't have lost the game the way he pitched, and you should have lost the game that Ranger pitched. So it works out anyway. I don't know. Zach Wheeler bothered me in Game 1 in their 6-3 loss because whenever the Phillies did crack back into the lead, the other team tacks on an insurance run. They pull away. They add some bonus. You're supposed to be the number one dude. If you want to grab this franchise's fan base right now, this is the time to do it. 7 games, big-time opponents. I need 5-2 at the minimum. I don't think that that's unfair to ask. You could tell how much this meant for the clubhouse. You know the world was on the shoulders of Trea Turner. But that also impacts the rest of the team, too. I think that was carrying a black cloud around every single dude. From Rob Thompson all the way down. Even from Dave Dombrowski and John Middleton. Bryce could go 3 for 4. Nick could have 2 home runs in a game. Kyle Schwarber could hit his 11th, his 12th, his 13th home run. Nothing was going to change until Trea Turner made the noise. Until he was the loudest. We'd bring up the others, but it doesn't hit as hard. Now you can relax.